Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again for a new concept. One of my favorite booktube channels that I'm watching is Drinking by My Shelf. If you don't know her, go check her out. Awesome booktube channel, awesome concepts, awesome ideas, and awesome person just overall. So there's this one series on this channel. It's called Balancing the Shelves, and it's a cool concept. It includes hauls and wrap up and just balancing what came into the life and what went out. Now, I let that inspire me and I will copy a lot of this. So please make sure to go check out Drinking by My Shelf, leave some comments and give all the love to what this video has been inspired by. Pretty much what I want to focus on though is the physical copies, because I want to reduce the amount of books that are physically in my house so that it frees me up to travel. I have to learn to like to read more digitally, because I will not be able to slug 400 books around because my TBR is so big. Also because I want to reduce the stuff that I own. I want to put a big focus over the next couple of months on just getting rid of my physical books. If you know me, you already know that I don't tend to keep my books mostly. It has to be a very special series. It's pretty much The Wheel of Time, some Sanderson, some Octavia Butler. Let's see what physical books came in the month and what physical books I unhauled during the month. I automatically unhaul everything that I read, usually, but the idea of this game is that if I don't meet the number of books that have come into the house, I will either have to pick a prompt and do a penalty, or I'm gonna have to go and find books until I have enough that I can unhaul so that I have one more leaving my house than has come into my house. I've been starting to get prompts from the lovely community on my giveaway where I asked for some prompts, but feel free to put some more prompts down below. What are some kind of prompts that I should be doing that I can technically also film for this channel? And that can be anything. You know, if you know my channel, you know my TBR game punishments. I go out, give out flowers on the street, or I look how I can help somebody, or I do something that frightens me. It can also be a specific request, like a specific request for a specific book reading vlog. If you want to follow me around for a day and see what I eat and cook, because I love cooking and I love whole food plant-based cooking and I love sharing the foods that I create. So let's start and see if we are going to do any prompts or if we find a way to balance the shelves today. I originally started filming a haul in the middle of August, which is also including some books from July, which will make this really hard, but it's gonna count. So let's go through this video, and for every book that I'm hauling in that video, I'm gonna find a book to unhaul. Let's go. So since I have been traveling in end of July, beginning of August, I'm kind of not able to determine which books I got in July and which in August, because when I came back, I had this huge pile of new books that we need to get to. So let's combine the two hauls of July and August and let's get cracking, because this pile is huge. We have the Let's Normantika. This is an arc from a reading service. I love this cover. This translates to The Last Romance People. I don't know how to translate that properly. And I didn't think that this would be interesting, but I read an excerpt. For some reason, this kind of spoke to me. It's more of a family drama. It sounded quite interesting and intriguing, so I requested this and won it. And now I'm gonna have to put this on my TBR in September. To balance it out, I'm going to unhaul A Raisin in the Sun. Read this, loved this. Bye-bye. The next is A Man Called Ove. This is the German edition. I got this from the Traveling Book Project. Am I the first to read this? No, I am the second to read this. Not a lot of comments in here where I can show you what this looks like, but a little drawing. So pretty much how the Traveling Book Project works is that we take a different colored pen, write our comments in it, and send it to the next one. There's usually a maximum of 10 people reading this, but at the end it can get really colorful, and I'm pretty sure that I have more on my pile here. I love this project and I'm looking forward to diving into this. I don't know much about this book. I think that Ove has, was it a mental illness or something? Or he's peculiar. I'm not sure, so don't come for me because I simply don't know. I'm not mischaracterizing him, I just don't know. But I know that the author Frederick Backman, he wrote amazing books, and I'm really excited to dive into this. I'm balancing this out with Pet, which I also read and loved. Then I have How To. This is also a traveling book which I received, and this is going to be more of something. Ooh, there's still some tea in there. Sometimes we give each other tea. There's a lot of drawings in there, a lot of explanations. So this is pretty much a random how-to guide to absurd things, how to get it done to recharge your phone, how to get it done to take a selfie, how to get it done to catch a drone, how to know if you're a kid of the 90s, how to get it done to win an election, how to get it done to decorate a tree, how to build an Autobahn, how to get somewhere fast. I don't know, and I think if I get this correctly, that this is serious and funny at the same time. I'm quite intrigued by this. I'm not sure what I'm gonna be thinking, but yeah. Balancing it out with another one that I read in August and loved. This one was so good. I don't want to throw this, do I? Books that are getting unhauled, just, you're getting unhauled. Bye. Then 2 books are moving in that I bought in a store that I went to with Najat. I filmed my Düsseldorf bookstores while Najat was visiting, and I bought Obsidia because I need to continue and finish up the series soon. I felt like buying it is just, I need to get it anyways, and I felt like I need to buy a book. So Obsidia is going to get balanced out by Love is a Revolution, which I read in August. My August reading month was so good. It was okay. It was cute. It's a romance. I don't care for romance. And then the other is Die Hungrigen und die Satten, and that's actually interesting because it is a German author, but I found it in the English section, and it was translated to The Hungry and the Fat. And I was like, that's a weird title. And I was ready to make fun of this. I was ready to diss this and be like, you shouldn't be writing something like that. And then I read about it and what it's about, and it actually sounded really intriguing. And then I was like, hey, that's a German author, and tried to find it in German because I do like to read work in the original language if possible. The original title would be translated into The Hungry and the Saturated. So it's not about people being fat, but people having sufficient nutrition, I guess. So the summary of the German book didn't intrigue me at all when it came out. It just sounded like a weird political satire. We're talking about ministers, and I don't know, it just a minister for inner politics from Bavaria that is humane and pragmatic, a career-oriented Secretary of State who needs to read kitchen catalogs and suffers from the yearly summer down. Never was Germany more helpless, and now a precarious situation is found out by a trash TV moderator, and I don't know, it just was like, I don't know, but when I read the back of the English book, I was like, ooh, I want to actually read that. So, Germany has imposed an upper limit on the number of asylum seekers, and Europe's borders are closed. Beyond the Sahara, huge camps have been built for millions of people who have no choice but to wait. They have been waiting so long that they could have walked to Europe by now, if it didn't spell certain death. When German model and TV star visits the largest of the camps with a camera crew, young refugee Lionel recognizes a unique opportunity to use the media attention to organize 150,000 refugees to set off on a march to Europe. The viewing ratings are off the scale and advertising money pours in, but Germany's politicians only look away helplessly. As the convoy moves closer through Jordan and Syria and into Turkey, Interior Minister faces his greatest challenge yet and 2 urgent questions. What do we do now? It just sounds so much more interesting than the German summary, don't you think? It's like very recent. It is a take on political situation and everything. So it is very recent and very up to date and very something that I feel like is very a topic that I want to read about. And I feel like this book will critically think about the situation. But yeah, I just found it interesting that the English translation of a book got me there. Unhauling this one, I didn't know if I loved this or not. Go watch my wrap up. I talk about this extensively and some of my thoughts about is this good or not. I'm still torn. Then we have Reset, which is the Once Upon a Book Club book of the month of August. Actually could be like July, but you get it in time to then read in August. This seems to be a little bit unusual for the Once Upon a Book Club box, because usually I feel like there's a lot of historical fiction, a lot of like typical like women fiction, even like love stories, or just following a life of a woman somehow, like growth stories and dramas and such. And this seemed to be a little bit more like science fiction based. Can you love someone you don't remember? After the last war destroyed most of the world's survivors from a new society in 4 self-sustaining cities in the Mojave Desert. In the utopia of the 4 cities, inspired by the lyrics of Imagine and Buddhist philosophy, everything is carefully planned and controlled. The seasons, the weather, and the residents. To prevent mankind from destroying each other again, its citizens undergo a memory wipe every 4 years in a process called tabula rasa, a blank slate to remove learned prejudices. With each new cycle, they begin again with new names, jobs, homes, and lives. No memories, no attachments, no wars. So that is pretty much the setting. And then obviously we're going to be following some people who then explore love and relationships with the dooming situation of having their memory wiped every 4 years. And I'm not sure if we're going to meet some misfunctions of tabula rasa, but I feel like that is right up my alley. That is like the kind of book that I really love to read anyways. So I'm quite grateful that it was in the box. And I'm already unhauling it because I read it in August. I got it in August and I read it in August. Then I bought Wings of Shadow. I really enjoyed the trilogy. Well, I read 2 out of the 3 books, and I sent it out as a traveling book for myself, so I'll be getting it back after a while with a lot of comments in there. I don't know if I want to read the 3rd one before sending it out and starting it, or if I want to just wait until the others come back and read all 3 at the same time with all the comments. But the downside to that is that it can take a couple of years, because 10 people each usually has like 3 months. Do the math. 30 months is quite common for this to take to get back to somebody. So do I really want to wait so long, or do I just want to send it out now? I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it. It is a chunker, but I really enjoyed the story so far. There were some unique spins to the fantasy, to the Phoenix world, and some tropes that weren't followed through that I hate and that were kind of put on their head in the first one, and I really enjoyed that a lot. We have a lot of like the feeling of ancient mythology and Phoenix riders where people bond with their Phoenix, and that's just something that I really enjoy right now. For this one, I am unhauling A Handmaid's Tale, which was a traveling book and is traveling further. I also got Supernova, which is again a traveling book, and I'm number 5. That's cool, because that means I'm actually the 3rd person to read this, because I borrowed this from the person who was supposed to be the 3rd person, because this fit my prompt in an August TBR game prompt. So I'm going to be reading this very soon, and there's a lot of notes in there already, which is cool. Much I can talk about, because this is the 3rd in a series. I'm looking forward to rounding up the series and finishing it, and then diving into something new. Supernova already was unhauled last weekend, or is it 2 weeks ago? But it was unhauled pretty much right away. I got it, I read it, I unhauled it. So that's balanced out. Then I got Spectrum Women, which was supposed to be a group book in a readathon that isn't happening anymore. But I still want to dive into this and read it, but I'm not sure if I want to read it in September as was originally planned, or if I want to read it later. But I'm super interested in learning more about autism, and this is supposed to be a short story collection by several different women who are talking about their experiences living as an autistic person. And I have a feeling that these stories are going to be very, very different from each other, and that I'm going to be learning a lot from these women, especially because what I've heard is that for women especially, it's very hard to be diagnosed with autism and be recognized in the community, potentially not in the community amongst each other, but in the medical side of the community. So I'm quite intrigued by this, and I just don't know when I'm going to be getting to this yet. Balancing out this one with The Thousandth Floor. Wasn't sure about it. Was meh. Then we have one more traveling book, Verblendung by Stieg Larsson. And we have some more tea. Thank you for the tea. I already love seeing several different colors. Oh yay, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm the 9th person to read this. What's the original title, or what's the title that you might know this? It's out of, the original title is Swedish, which I cannot read, but let's see, what's the English title? The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I know that it was very popular a while back, and when it came out, people were raving about it, and I think it was also turned into a movie. I'm super, super interested in reading this and diving into this. I never knew that this was The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I never connected the two covers and the two titles to each other, but yeah. But isn't that cool when you already see so many people commenting? This is going to be so much fun reading. This one I'm balancing out with We Are the Ants, which I read and right away unhauled because this went to somebody else who wanted it. Then we have the Fairy Loot. Hopefully this is the last one. I canceled the Fairy Loot because I don't need any more YA fantasy stuff, even though they have amazing books and amazing copies of books, but I have more than enough books on my shelf, and I don't need to spend money on a book subscription box if I don't want anything out of that box aside from a book, potentially. It is Fire with Fire, Two Sisters, Divided They Burn. I love this cover. It's nice and colorful. I really like it. Oh yes, I love when the naked book has some foil on it, and that's like a lady dragon, I think. It's her. Looks like a lady dragon because of the eyes. The eyes just look female. I didn't choose you and you didn't choose me, but we have each other now, always. Intriguing. Dani and Eden Rivera were born to kill dragons, but that's the only thing the sisters have in common. For Dani, dragon slaying takes a backseat to everyday high school life. Ooh, so that's like more modern day fantasy? I love that. I'm down for that. For Eden, slaying is her life, yet they both agree on one thing. Where dragons are concerned, it's kill or be killed. That is until Dani actually meets a dragon and ends up forging a rare and magical soul bond with him. As they grow closer, she begins to question everything she thought she knew. Suddenly, the one thing Eden and Dani always agreed on is the one thing that could tear their world apart. With Dani lost to the wrong side, Eden knows she'll have to risk everything to bring her sister back from the edge, even turning to the mysterious and alluring sorceress for help. Now, on opposite sides of an impending war, the sisters will do whatever it takes to save the other. But the two are playing with magic that is more dangerous than they can imagine, and there's another, more powerful enemy waiting for them both in the shadows. That sounds super interesting. So I'm happy that I got this book, but then I'm also happy when the Fairy Loot is like stops charging me money because I can't afford it anymore. Balancing this out with We Hunt the Flame, which is an exclusive signed edition, so I'm gonna not throw it because this might be worth $1 or $2. Oh, read it and it was okay. I was bored. Then I got this little copy of Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I know that Orson Scott Card is a little bit controversial, but I had a hard time making this decision. I understand the controversy on Orson Scott Card, and I don't really want to support him anymore, but then at the same time, Ender's Game has a really close place in my heart because there were a lot of things in there that made me think, and it kind of started making me rethink values in life and rethink things that I thought were the way because they were the way. It's really hard to explain it, but it kind of opened up my mind to different possibilities and questioning life and everything. So I want this to become a traveling book because I want comments from other people to this, and I want to read it again and just see. I remember several key moments in this that defined me. So while I don't want to like read everything that Orson Scott Card wrote. I feel like there's a lot of merit to Ender's Game. Maybe I'm trying to find excuses, but by providing this as a traveling book, less people are going to buy it, because those people who are going to read it with me, for me, and comment in it will not be purchasing it because I'm giving it to them. No, not a reason. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel bad about it, but at the same time, I'm weak and this book means too much to me. I'm weak. I don't have any principles. I'm a bad person. I could potentially be balancing out this one with Octavia E. Butler's Pattern Master, but I think I will keep this. I also finished this one, which I also am probably gonna keep. Maybe I'm gonna make an unhauling decision at a later stage, but for now, I mean, these are two of my favorite authors and I love these series, so they're going to stay with me for now, and I'm going to find some other books to unhaul instead. So, to balance out Ender's Game, I'm going to unhaul Macbeth's Shakespeare. To balance this one out, I'm going to unhaul Shakespeare's Macbeth, which is a really nice copy. I am looking for a gorgeous copy of Macbeth. And when I saw this, I was like, oh yes, this might be exactly the copy that I'm looking for. And when I got it, I was like, oh yes, 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 this is exactly what I want. And then I started reading and it said Erster Akt. I was like, it's German. I don't want a translation. I want the original. So then I got the Dune box set, and then right after I saw these beautiful other editions, and now I want the other editions. But Dune is going to be the... Like, I wanted to read Dune for the longest time, but it also intimidated me and I didn't want to do it alone. But now Dune is going to be the book of the month in the Interstellar Book Club in September, so I finally had an excuse to start a new series. I shouldn't be starting a new series. I really shouldn't. I need to complete some. But hey, there's 2 books here that are going to be completing series, right? Right? To balance this one out, I'm going to balance it out with a 3-part series book box thingy. I got the other copies. I got these, I think 2 years ago on Prime Day for a few bucks, but I did get the gorgeous white covers instead, which I love. So this one is being unhauled simply because I don't prefer this cover. Okay, 3 more. The Bands of Mourning, finishing up the second era of the Mistborn trilogy, love Wax and Wayne, reading it for the Readalong. I've just seen that there's a second Cosmere read-along, and I just joined that Discord as well. I love that I now have 2 places where I can discuss these books, but this I'm going to try and read in August, and then I don't know what's for September, but I think for September, I already read what's up for September, and I'm gonna try and get to Elantris again. As I said, read it, loved it, but probably gonna keep it. So we're starting to unhaul books that I haven't read at this point. The Pure Heart, Untouched by the Evils of the Outside World. It was in a box. I'm not feeling it, and it didn't get the best ratings, and I'm not even gonna bother. Now we have another book from a publisher, and that is Herr Schröder. Herr Schröder is a German comedian who is a German teacher, and his comedy is very much based on school life and school life in the digital age, and I find him incredibly funny. So when I saw that he wrote a book and that his book is up for an ARC review, I definitely wanted to read this, because this is going to be some much needed lighthearted fun. I found a romance book in German. So last but not least, I think this is another traveling book, and that is Red Rising. I'm finally gonna get to Red Rising. Yes. And we have tea. What do we have? Ginger and rose petals. That's different. And mint. I'm probably going to forward mint, but that's so cool. I think I'm the first. Oh, they put tags in here for us to use. That is so nice. Did you already decide on what they are going to mean? because I love when you do that. Oh, I'm actually the second one. So the first one didn't use any tags. But I have seen this book on BookTube so much. So many people that I trust have a similar taste to me are raving about it. I know that I'm gonna love it, and I am just so excited that I'm finally gonna be diving into this. It is long, long, long overdue. This one's tagged horror. I don't think that I'm ever gonna attempt this. I think I got this in a book box, so I do have like a signed thingamajig, but I'm not. This is done by Octavia E. Butler, and I am participating in the slow read along of all of Octavia E. Butler's work. We just finished the Pattern Master series, and we're diving into Dawn, which I believe is ethnofuturism again. Might even dingle on the horror-esque side. I will be reading this in September, so I had to get it, and I actually wanted to own a copy because it's beautiful. Again, romantic. Like, I'm not really reading romance, and I think that this one, no on so many levels. I wasn't even filming when opening this. It is the Pacific Crest Trail Killer, which is a 600-page thriller. Wowza. So this is a thriller that plays on the PCT, which I am weirdly drawn to. We're following this guy who wants to fulfill his like dream and hike the PCT, and after 750 kilometers a burned woman is found, and then I think the person who has been hiking the trail is like, is he former army or something, but he's supporting in the hunt for the killer, but it's very hard to catch him because he seems to be very well versed with the PCT. So I don't know if it's something that I should be reading as I feel drawn to the PCT, because it might scare me weirdly, but somehow spoke to me. I loved the cover, and I loved some things around a traveling library arrives in the village, bringing with it a mysterious leather-bound book. It still is a freaking romance! Filthy Animals by Brennan Taylor. This is something that I won. I didn't order this, but I have participated in Instagram challenges done by Red Ryan. He has been doing these amazing, what are these called? Where you have like pictures and then you have to guess what word or what sentence they mean. And he did that with book titles, and it was so much fun. And I won the giveaway that was attached to that, and this is the book that he sent me. First of all, I love this cover. I love the simplicity, I love the minimalism, but at the same time the colors and everything, I love it. So, what is this about? The first collection of stories from the author of Real Life, shortlisted for the 2020 Booker Prize. I'm not a fan of short stories, but I have seen with Once Upon an Eid that short stories can be really, really good and really amazing. So, especially when they're on a certain topic. Lionel had been out of hospital for only a few days when the potluck invitation came. In the linked stories, that's interesting and good. At the heart of Filthy Animals, a young man tentatively re-engages with the world. Recently discharged from hospital, Lionel meets two dance students at a party. Charles and Sophie's relationship is difficult to read, but Lionel is drawn to them both. As he navigates the sexually fraught encounters, he is forced to weigh his vulnerabilities against his loneliness and to consider his return to life. Elsewhere, a little girl runs wild to the consternation of her childminder. Unspoken frictions among a group of teenagers come to a vicious head on a winter night, and a woman dreads a first date only to find that something has cracked open. What connects these stories is the tension between the surface of things and the intensity of our inner worlds. With exquisite empathy, Brennan Taylor shows that though violence hovers at the edge of many encounters, so too does tenderness and love. Interesting. I think that in this particular setup and circumstances, I find the topic of love quite intriguing. I still don't really know what this is about, really, but I feel like you can't describe it better at the same time. So I'm quite intrigued. This was in the Once Upon a Book Club advent calendar. I got it twice, and I think I'm gonna unhaul it twice because I'm not feeling it. House of Whispers. I think it's after Ideas by Neil Gaiman, and it's done by I think it's written by Nalo Hopkinson. Stunning imagery. So I'm just gonna get the first one and see how I like it, because of the imagery tells me that this might be a story leaning on like horror images, and that is not my type of thing. So I might just read the first one and then join the discussion, or I'm gonna get the rest. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there are some stunning images in here that I enjoy. It's my first time looking into this, but it's so interesting because the color theme seems to keep switching up, and I cannot pinpoint why, but it seems to be done beautifully. So I have no idea what it is about. So I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna dive into this and see what I think. I don't know. Let's see. Got it when I was on a manga haul spree, and only later realized it's a book. And when I really read it about what it is about, I was like, I don't want to read a novel about this. I'm just not feeling it. How to Speak Human is a non-fiction book that got recommended to me by a colleague. After the recommendation, my manager bought for the whole team as an ebook, but well, sitting in Germany, I cannot retrieve Kindle books, so I got it myself, and I got a paperback copy. I prefer to read it as a paperback over a Kindle, and I'm excited to dive into this. Take a practical approach to the communication challenges in your workplace. Through 11 strategies, 23 tactics, and 15 stories, this handy how-to will help curious humans use the science of connection to create compelling communication, translate mind-numbing complexity into captivating simplicity, hijack attention, engage and influence others. Whether you're a leader looking to connect with your workforce, a member of a small team hungry to make a difference, or at the helm of a global organization with an eye on the horizon, this is a how-to for forward thinkers like you. Super excited to dive into this. Paranormal, urban mystery / potentially a little horror infusion, and I am not digging the cover. You might be getting unhauled because I don't like you. I don't like to look at you. So we are balanced out, so we need one more so that we do not need to do a penalty prompt. And for this one, I have found another romance book, finally hardcover. I think a lot of them were paperbacks, but this one is just screaming a no on so many levels. I will never, ever, ever get to this. This was in a book box, has a signed book plate, but I think, yeah, even like a letter from the author, but I just know I'm not gonna get to it because it's a romance, and I know, just not my thing. Sorry. So for the month of August, the shelves are balanced. I think the month of September is going to be a huge challenge because I didn't read that much so far, and it's almost the end of the month. I'm gonna go on a business trip in a couple of days, so wish me luck. Put in some prompts in the comments to see what I could do if I don't find any books that I can unhaul, or maybe I just want to do a prompt. Who knows? Sometimes I love doing these prompts that are pushing me out of my comfort zone. So, but next time I'm gonna have the jar ready and everything, and I'll think twice about wanting to unhaul. This is just the start. Subscribe. Just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay?